With Paige promising a comeback and The Rock locked in for WrestleMania, this is Wrestling Up. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for August 30th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Up and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. While Roman Reigns had a rocky road in his WWE career, he has finally come into his own as the Tribal Chief. Speaking to Wrestling Inc., Jimmy Hart discussed Vince McMahon's thoughts when it comes to finding a top star. Vince McMahon years and years ago in New York said to me, "Jimmy, I'm looking for my next big attraction. Someone that can walk through any airport in the world and even a casual wrestling fan will recognize him." He specifically wanted a casual to recognize him, one that rarely watches TV. Then I can take him on the Today Show, the Tonight Show, and they can hold their own with a host about anything the host wants to talk about and not embarrass the company. Then I can take him and give him about a 3 or 4 months push on TV and they can make me $1 million worth of merchandise. Hart then touched on wrestlers over the years he believes had it. Hulk had it, Rock had it, Stone Cold had it, John Cena had it. Who do you see has it now? I think you got a home run right there. Roman has been Universal Champion for over a year now, as he looks set to go down as one of the all-time greats. Ric Flair shocked many when it was reported he requested his release from WWE. Now that he is out and has no non-compete clause, he has appeared at Triple Mania alongside AEW star Andrade. On his 83 Weeks podcast, Eric Bischoff said Flair will join AEW and fans will have a blast seeing him step in the ring. Watch what happens when Ric Flair steps in the ring in AEW. Just watch what happens. We saw what happened in Mexico in AAA when Rick and Andrade got together. When Flair steps back in the ring and starts chopping somebody, nobody is going to say to themselves, "Oh man, that was a weak chop. He doesn't chop as well as he did 20 years ago." Nobody cares. They're going to have a blast. They'll rejoice. It's going to trigger their memory, and they're going to go back in time and remember some of those magic Ric Flair moments, and that's what they're paying their money for. Most recently, Flair appeared during NWA 73 to cut a heartfelt promo, as we'll have to wait for his AEW debut. Despite having to retire due to injury at an early age, Paige took to Twitch to let fans know that this is her comeback story. I'm not done. I'm not done yet. This is going to be my comeback story. I'm inspired. I'm so inspired by the people coming back to wrestling, and the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, mentally, I'm ready to go. I'm going to start working around, getting in the ring a little bit, maybe. We'll see. This is not saying I'm making a comeback tomorrow. It's a long road. I still have to get cleared by doctors. I have to get cleared by WWE. It's such a big process, but emotionally, I'm ready. The past few months, I didn't think I was emotionally ready, but now I'm ready to go back on the horse. Even if it takes me a year, one step at a time, build to it, that's exactly what I'm doing. There's a whole journey, and it's going to take some time. With many rumors going around that The Rock will be returning to WWE to face his cousin Roman Reigns, Ringside News has reported The Rock's return to pro wrestling is one instance of WWE having to book long term, because his schedule is ridiculously busy. We were told the next year's Mania isn't looking likely for The Rock, but Dwayne Johnson is a virtual lock for Hollywood Mania 2023. Following her WWE release, it was said Ruby Riott was in talks with AEW. Now Ringside News has reported AEW's plan for her debut. The current plan calls for Ruby Soho to debut at AEW All Out on September 5th. Unless things change, she will be in the Women's Casino Battle Royale match. This is a huge get for AEW's women's division and fans should be excited. Ruby has even informed indie promotions that she is not taking bookings, which could suggest that she has already signed a contract. At Money in the Bank, Charlotte Flair was able to win the Raw Women's title, but during the match, fans were chanting for Becky Lynch. This led to Flair flipping off the crowd, and she told Renee Paquette why she did so. After the match, I was walking to Gorilla and was like, "Oh yeah, I gave them the bird. Am I going to get in trouble? They pissed me off. Hear me out. I've got Rhea Ripley, the first big pay-per-view with me. I get it, everyone's excited to have Becky Lynch back. I'm excited to have Becky back. But you guys went from chanting Becky to this is awesome. If you know what I'm capable of, show the respect up front. I don't know, I'm usually so cookie cutter, black and white, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, but in that moment I just felt it. I was like, let me steal the show with Rhea Ripley. I know that she's that good. Don't disrespect her. I'm used to it. Like, I can take the beating. With her making a WWE comeback in June, Eva Marie told Renee Paquette that Vince McMahon personally reached out to her about a return. I had a conversation with Vince through emails, so that's kind of how it started, just always keeping in contact via email of things I was doing outside of WWE, making sure he was fully aware that Eva Marie was ready and willing to come back whenever you see fit, and that door was open on my end. It's one of those things too, where if you want something, go ask for it, or go get it, and make sure that other person or avenue knows about it, so they're not fully closed off. What's the worst that can happen? You're just in the position before where you were originally. As Marie mentioned that fans have no idea where her storyline with Dewdrop is heading, we'll have to tune in to see what's next. After CM Punk's debut in AEW, Tony Khan said on Wrestling Observer Radio that Punk had no interest in taking a chance on AEW when they were a startup company. We've been talking a really long time, and a few years ago, it just wasn't the right time. I think he wanted to see how this thing went. He wasn't ready to come back to wrestling, especially not for a startup company. Now we're long past the startup phase. It's been really successful. They signed a big TV extension, and I think once we got the extension and it looked like we were going to be in place for a while, it probably made the company look a lot more like a stable option for CM Punk, honestly. John Cena is active on social media, with his Instagram account being one of the more mysterious given its cryptic nature. During an Esquire Q&A he mentioned this, saying, "My Instagram account are images posted without any explanation for interpretation of the audience. Please don't get me wrong, there is a method and value to everything I post to Instagram, but if I tell you, it ruins what I do. There is meaning for me. If you got meaning from it too, that's cool, that's great, but it's not for me to explain. We're trying to curate a different experience. Try to figure it out." While they've become a successful duo and Raw Tag Team Champions, Riddle told CBS Sports that the first time he pitched RK Bro backstage, the idea was met with laughter. A couple of weeks before WrestleMania, I made a joke and said, how awesome would it be if me and Randy teamed up and called ourselves RK Bro? The writers and everybody laughed at me. Sometimes you just have to plant that seed and eventually it happens. I lost the US title at WrestleMania and Randy beat The Fiend, so we were already done with our particular stories and kind of found each other. I think it was originally not supposed to be what it is today, but we were both pushing for it. With her being pulled from live events leading up to SummerSlam and then missing the pay-per-view, PW Insider says that Sasha Banks was not on the road for WWE this past weekend, and unless there is a last-minute change, we're told that she will not be returning this week either. For now, it's looking like she could make her comeback by the 10th, yet this is not confirmed at this time, with it also not known why she's been out. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.